listening?
Breakthrough media. Truth always wins out in the end because it outlives falsehood.
The one that does the preaching here, for those who care to listen. Now, if there's anything that I can do...
Well, there's one thing you can do. Tell me why nobody around here will listen to me.
Well, if you want people to listen, you've got to tell them what they want to hear.
I told them the truth.
That's the last thing that most people want to hear.
It's time for you to stand on the truth. Time for you to stand for what you know, what you've been researching. And the passion that comes out of B. Tatum comes from the truth. All I do is speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Okay, so what do you say to people who think, we can't reopen because doing so will create more infections and people will die? What's your reaction to that when you hear that?
Well, there's lots of essential workers that have been working the entire time who have not gotten sick. So I'm trying to wonder how they're all still doing well. All the people that have been shopping and hanging out elbow to elbow in Walmart, they seem to be fine. But in our salon, we're taking way more precautions than that. So if you want to come in the salon, you're welcome. If you don't want to, you're welcome to stay home too. It doesn't matter to me.
Democrat Maxine Waters even had something to say about all this. Congresswoman Maxine Waters said, quote,
governors are under, great stress. And the protests that have been organized, the protests that will trying to intimidate our governors to open up everything, or protests where, the people participating in that should be ashamed of themselves. They should not be encouraged in any way. They should not be encouraged from the top leadership of this country to go out and do that. I think that our governors are for the most part, not all of them, and I'm certainly not talking about Governor Kemp in Georgia, but I'm talking about our own Governor Newsom.
Mouth breather.
Here in California, who's done a wonderful job, and about Cuomo in New York.
Mouth breather.
Whose updates have been so helpful to so many of us across the country. I know the pressure is on, and I know that you're trying to hold the line, and I want you to hold the line. I don't want to see these establishments open back up. And I want the federal government to join with the cities and the states to support these families in every way that we can. I do want a moratorium on rent evictions, and I have a huge bill. I have $100 billion bill to pay the landlords. We don't want them to risk their properties. Many of them have bought small number of units, 8, 10 units, 4 units as retirement property. And I know that they need to pay their mortgages. And I am going to absolutely see to it that they are reimbursed, that they are paid for the to give support to our constituents, to our citizens, to the people that are in direct contact with people. Nail shops, beauty shops, barber shops, floor shops. These are people in touch with folks every day, and they're risking their lives, and we don't want them opened up.
Protesters should be ashamed when they're out there trying to get the economy reopened. And she said in this actual quote, we don't want businesses opened back up. At the protests that have been organized, the protesters are trying to intimidate governors to open up. When you hear elected officials talking like that, she's saying that people participating in trying to reopen should be ashamed of themselves. When you hear that, what's your reaction?
What is wrong with you? Huh? What did you done lost your way. But I'm gonna help you find it. You fired.
She should be ashamed of herself because she's still getting a paycheck telling other people not to work.
Boom.
Yeah.
breakthrough.